I just got fired from my tech job after signing a $5,000 per month.
I expected more out of my life. Like, I thought I would be like, making 300K at this point.
A CS degree will not guarantee you a coding job.
Why would you not be stressed? You keep seeing all these videos about like big corporate CEOs talking about how your job is going to be like not needed anymore.
I don't know if there's even a point in studying computer science anymore. I genuinely don't know.
It's too late to try to get into tech. And if you had asked me earlier this year, I would have said absolutely.
Tech jobs have plunged for people earning 6 figures or more.
A lot of the people that graduate these computer science and IT degrees, they're not skilled enough to, compete for these graduate roles.
Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. I'm Intabi Singh, and in this video I'll be sharing with you interesting TikTok videos that I am scavenging throughout the day and finding on various topics that you will enjoy with me, and I will give you my little hot take either throughout the video or towards the end. So sit back and enjoy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
I just got fired from my tech job after signing a $5,000 per month.
Just another friendly reminder that no job is 100% stable. And especially if you're in tech, you are literally one moment away from being emailed with HR CC'd and being on your way, getting notice, being laid off. Job stability is a myth.
Applying to jobs will become the second most popular way to land a job in technology in the future. And it's already happening. I was going to start this video off by saying it was a hot take, but it is actually not becoming a hot take anymore. Now, if you're following technology people on X at the moment, you'll come to realize that a lot of people are actually being hired through that platform. And a lot of these people are just anonymous accounts. They don't actually show their face, but all they will do is they will actually show their work and they'll showcase that. So it's almost becoming like having a secondary version of a GitHub profile. Now, to add further to the point, I've seen a lot of recruiters on LinkedIn at the moment talk about applying to a job isn't enough in tech anymore, which is kind of crazy really, because a lot of people go through, thousands of pounds of debt to go through university, to study for a degree, to try and land a job, just to be told they have to post on the internet to try and land a job, which is obviously very dystopian. Like, nobody really wants to go out of their way and do that. A lot of people don't really feel comfortable posting online. A lot of people are. Now, this uncomfortable aspect, especially on LinkedIn, a lot of people don't want to do it because they don't want their employers to see. So they're doing it on other platforms. They're creating blogs, X, Reddit, all these different types of places. And I think it will continue to keep growing this way.
I never thought this would happen. This chart shows the unemployment rates of 25 to 29-year-olds with bachelor's degrees. Sadly, computer science is #1. People in tech are always roasting liberal arts and communications majors for not having jobs, but they're doing better than us, bro. This right here is what happens when you have years of social media influencers telling everyone to go into CS because you can make 100K plus no problem. And also, the people who are in CS right now don't even know how to do it. They just know how to use ChatGPT. Let me know where your major stacks up.
So I get a lot of people confused as to why computer science has such a high level of unemployment, but at the same time there's such high demand for computer science graduates. Remember, two things can be true at once. The main caveat is that they're looking for skilled graduates. And a lot of the people that graduate these computer science and IT degrees, they're not skilled enough to, compete for these graduate roles. So if you're someone that's worried about graduating a computer science degree, or you're a bit unsure as to whether I should pursue computer science or not, it shouldn't be a worry as long as you're skilled. And if you're looking to upskill, make sure to follow me for more.
A CS degree will not guarantee you a coding job. A lot of CS curriculums in colleges only teach theory about computer science and don't teach you the practical programming skills or the demanded skills in the industry. So if you're looking to get a coding job, don't just rely on that degree. You have to keep up with the latest technologies and code on your own time.
Check this out. There is a Berkeley professor who says that best CS grads with 4.0 GPAs coming out of Berkeley still cannot get jobs in tech. The tech job market has dried up. You have outspoken CEOs like the one from Klarna who says that AI can do all the jobs. The reporting goes further. It says that this is an irreversible trend and that graduates are facing a money pinch over the next 4 years because they cannot find an opportunity. Tech companies laid off over 37,000 people since January. As a founder, I get to see in a lot of different companies, and unfortunately, I've seen staff from some of our clients be laid off and they're not hiring them back. What they're doing is actually going into their salaries, and using that money, hire an AI implementation partner who can do that job for them. A lot of these roles like connecting databases, processing claims, reviewing different tracks, doing billing, like all of these rote repetitive tasks are being automated, and there's huge displacement. Job hunting is a real problem for this day's college graduate. What do you think the solution is? How can we help find jobs for young people, or how can they find meaningful employment?
Imagine being a software engineer and you can't even figure out how to auto-apply to LinkedIn job postings with a script. I keep seeing videos of people saying, oh, like the job posting opened up a minute ago and it already has 100 applicants. Yeah, because they're not dumb like you and just scrolling through LinkedIn mindlessly. They're actually taking the fact that they have a software engineering degree, that they know how to program, and doing something useful with that and creative, like auto-applying to jobs for them. I think a lot of you really miss the point of what it means to be a software engineer. Being a software engineer means you can take your creativity, what you think, put it into code, and have a program or computer do the work for you. My genuine biggest recommendation, if you're a freshman, sophomore, junior, whatever, even if you're a current software engineer now, is have passion projects, have creative ideas that you take and actually implement them in code, even if the ideas already been done before, because that's just the fundamental important aspect of computer science, is taking an idea you have in your head and automating it with a computer.
Recent computer science graduates are completely unable to find work. As of 2024, you will see hundreds of videos of people rushing to find jobs at markets and meets, computer science majors, all with degrees, unable to find work. Recently, NVIDIA's CEO came out and directly said, English will be the main programming language in the future of AI. That is huge. That is huge. Anybody who's learned a programming language within the next 5 years is going to be completely obsolete. So everybody who has a degree in any type of relation or certificate showing that they can program in this specific language will be completely...
You're completely cooked if you thought it was a good idea to just learn how to code. If you only know Python, if you only know Java, you are cooked. Nowadays, with the power of AI, you can code in languages like English and Spanish. So what does that mean? We need to learn how to use AI in our workflow. Oh, I'm really good at AI. I use ChatGPT for all my comp sci assignments. Yeah. No. Prompt engineering is a serious AI position that's growing in this upcoming decade. They pay between 130 to 200K, plus they're AI proof. You might want to check out Google Prompting Essentials on Coursera. I'm not sponsored by them, but I think it's a really good idea since they give you a certificate, plus they give you hands-on experience. Now, this course alone won't get you the job, but it's a great stepping stone along the way. So I hope this helps, and let's uncook ourselves.
Is software engineering still the most in-demand job in 2024? When I was in high school, my computer science teacher would always tell us, when you graduate high school, you are guaranteed a job outside of college. You graduate, get a job. You graduate, get a job. Have you seen the Google and Amazon layoffs recently? My computer science friends literally don't have jobs. They all have full-on bachelor degrees from a top university. Yes, coding is still a very high in-demand skill, but you should not learn how to code just to become a software engineer because you might end up unemployed.
Big tech doesn't want you, bro. Companies pretty much stopped hiring entry-level software engineers.
And I wish this guy wasn't speaking the truth, but I see it too. Seeing so many capable, smart software engineers who have 1 to 2, maybe 3 years of experience in the market because big tech overhired in 22 and 2023. Not only competing with each other, but also AI. My advice, if you're an entry-level software engineer, do not go to FANG, go to early stage startups, go to healthcare companies, go to fintech companies, anywhere you can to get some experience. Because what you're going to realize as you go up in your career is that coding is just one piece of the puzzle. What's going to separate you from AI, it's the little things. It's your creativity, it's your project management skills, it's your ability to work with people. All of that you get through experience, wherever you can get it. Do that and you'll level up. All right? Good luck.
Tech layoffs are not going to be forever, so don't quit your major, hold on tight, and maybe play it safe, because this is nothing new. Let's take a look at a similar event, the dot-com bust. Recent tech layoffs have been the worst since the dot-com bubble burst over 2 decades ago. This graph shows a completely dire situation of the early 2000s. Just take a look at how the tech layoffs compare to other industries. But it also shows how the industry managed to recover in 2004. And surprisingly, the 2008 recession wasn't nearly as bad compared to the general population. So what are some factors that led to the bust? Over-evaluations of dot-com, lavish spending habits, a surplus of venture capital, and encouragement by the media. I'm not saying this is the exact same situation, but does any of this sound familiar? Now, this graph about CS bachelor degrees is very interesting because this whole article talks about the downturn of CS in the early 2000s. Years after the CS student enrollment took a downturn all the way up to 2009. So those that stayed possibly experienced the prosperity of the 2010s as senior engineers. Now, back to the present day, it seems like there's a lot of tech workers that are finding employment in non-tech companies, and that is helping to boost productivity across the economy. What I'm trying to say is, and of course I cannot guarantee anything, but based on previous patterns in history, we're currently going through a low period and eventually there will be a period of prosperity. So you just hold on tight, maybe play it safe. Unfortunately, there's not much else us little folks can do. We don't really control the market, so just hold on tight.
I know a lot of people in my life who lost jobs in tech. And I know people, so many people currently who are in university, and just recently someone was asking me, and I think they're in their second year of varsity. They're doing, I think they're in second year. They're doing computer science, and like he was just like, dude, I don't know what to do. I'm really worried. I was so excited when I started this degree, but now I'm not. I mean, because like, why would you not be stressed? You keep seeing all these videos about like big corporate CEOs talking about how your job is going to be like not needed anymore, you know. So he's like so stressed out, so worried. He's taken debts to do this course or degree. And what do you say? Do you say, hey, don't worry, keep going? Like, people are stressed out. Do you change your degree completely? Do you just hope that you'll be in the right space? There's just so much like uncertainty, like no one knows, like you just don't know. And all of us that thought maybe tech would be the right field to get into to make more money, we're just here on the sidelines like, yo, like, should we even attempt? Yeah, it's concerning.
We're in the midst of a white-collar recession. Tech jobs have plunged for people earning 6 figures or more. New data from LinkedIn shows a dramatic slowdown across product management, marketing, engineering, and IT roles, which are all down more than 20% since 2018. Even highly credentialed tech employees are struggling to find new jobs. In January, John Bach, a director at eBay of 13 years, was laid off. Since then, he's had a miserable job search, 135 applications, 2 callbacks, 0 offers. Part of the decline is simply a market correction. Between 2018 and 2022, tech companies hired way too many people and have since had to slash headcount via layoffs and other measures. Another reason for the slowdown is more tech employees are opting to stay put. This year, voluntary turnover is below 20%, down from almost 27% in 2022. For more daily business videos, make sure to follow.
I don't know if there's even a point in studying computer science anymore. I genuinely don't know. How is there so many people that have studied computer science that are unemployed a year later, 2 years later, struggling to find tech roles? This degree might actually be a waste of time. I'm quite shocked. I personally didn't study computer science, so, you know, it wasn't a barrier of entry for me that I needed to have to land my role. Now, the thing that I don't get is, how have you not developed the right skills in order to thrive over people that are doing boot camps and breaking into the industry, or people that are self-taught? It's quite foreign to me. And what I'm starting to realize, I personally haven't done computer science myself. So again, if I am off with this, feel free, those that study computer science, comment below. But the DMs I'm getting and the people that I'm helping, it seems like your degree is too broad. So one bit of advice that I'd give people that are doing computer science is, within your second year, have a good idea of what specific role you want to be in. If you want to be in data science, if you want to be in DevOps, if you want to learn more cloud, get those certifications, do those additional projects and the extra self-learning. Do what you need to do. Because what it seems like is your degree at the end of the day, maybe you're not going to the top universities and maybe that plays a factor, but it's not holding the weight you need in order to land that first role.
Many people still fall in this mindset where they believe that if they have a college degree, they should be getting a job no problem right now. Guys, right now companies don't care if you have a college degree. What they want is for you to prove that you're teachable. A lot of people that have 10 years experience aren't self-developing, but they're staying stagnant with that experience. In this current field, you need to show how you are ever evolving, and you can do that by doing labs and projects and putting it on a tech portfolio. But I'm telling you right now that a degree isn't going to cut it. There are jobs and companies that are expanding like crazy. My current company expanded 400% in the last 200 days. So all I'm saying is there are many jobs out there.
You know those nap pods and in-office massage chairs that Google and other big tech corporations have been offering to lure in talent? Yeah, people are starting to see the real price tag that comes with those benefits, and the veil is slowly starting to lift. Google used to be the #1 most desired workplace to be working in. Now it's dropped its rank position to number 7. Guess what numbers 1 and 2 are right now? It is not in tech, it is in healthcare. Number 1 is St. Jude's Children's Hospital, and number 2 is Mayo Clinic. New workers entering the workforce are wising up to the fact that the blingy perks and high-flying compensations that big tech offers are kind of like a hard drug with an amazing euphoria in the beginning, but when the music stops, you may be left holding the bag, potentially jobless. Glassdoor conducted a survey on the class of 2024 and asked them what the most desirable quality in a job that they would be looking for would be. And the resounding answer from the overwhelming majority was job security. Tech and job security don't even live in the same universe. Now, don't get me wrong. Tech still is one of the most innovative spaces to be in, where you can make life-changing amounts of compensation and still enjoy some of the best work-life balance. But you need to have the stomach to endure a random layoff out of the blue and the foresight to be planning financially for such a grim eventuality.
Do you remember all those techfluencers who were trying to convince you that if you learned how to code, that was your golden ticket to easy money and an easy job?
Did you know learning how to code is one of the most in-demand skills in the world?
You have to start coding. If you're seeing this, you've probably thought about coding before.
Right, the layoffs are already piling up this year.
With more layoffs just announced.
Last year, more than 250,000 jobs in the tech industry disappeared. From 2010 to 2022, we basically were living through a modern-day American gold rush, known as the tech industry. This is a map of Silicon Valley, and companies like Google, Meta, Uber, they were born during this time. And during that 2010 to 2022 timeframe, there was a lot of free money floating around that was helping to basically create and finance these businesses. And the reason why there was so much money was because interest rates were almost at zero. So it basically cost no money to borrow money. If you literally had any idea for an app, there is a good chance that you could probably find an investor to give you some money. Do you remember the con artist Anna Delvey? Well, her ex-boyfriend had this ridiculous app idea called a dream database, and he basically conned people into giving him money. He never made anything with that money, he basically stole it, and now he could never come back to the US. This is basically the time where we discovered how rich the rich could get. A lot of people were obsessed with Mark Zuckerberg. They heralded him as a genius. People admired him for creating Facebook, which was such a profitable company. And it wasn't until later, after much controversy, that now we're able to look at him critically. The same thing with Elon Musk. People were literally worshiping him. And he's always kind of been trolly, but after the whole Twitter X thing, public sentiment really turned on him. The reason why I bring this up is because during this time, tech CEOs could do no wrong. It wasn't until after the 2016 election that politicians and think tanks and professors and analysts were like, hey, are social media companies actually hurting society? And the media did a big part to create this mythic tech CEO fantasy. Basically, the tech industry and the media industry and everyone that was profiting off this industry was selling us this idea that the tech industry was the new way to achieve the American dream. And for some people, that really happened. Like for Mark Zuckerberg, he went from being rich to being incredibly filthy rich. And because these companies were so flush with investor cash, they were throwing out the most ridiculous salaries. Netflix at one point was paying software engineers over $1 million a year. I mean, it's actually really bizarre that we thought it was normal that engineers were making over $1 million a year. A rocket scientist makes around $100,000 a year. A pharmacist makes around $150,000 a year. Your primary care physician makes $180,000 a year. The salaries in tech were not normal, and it was 100% because of all the free money floating around. And guess what? It ran out. So you know the story. The Fed increased interest rates, right? They were trying to prevent the economy from crashing. Inflation was running rampant during the pandemic. It was a serious issue, and they had to raise our interest rates, and now no one in America can basically buy a home. 2008, this is during the Great Recession. A lot of millennials are graduating college at this point, and people are getting terrible wages. Their salaries are stunted for years and years after this. And look what's really interesting about that line. This is interest rates at nearly 0%. And this is a time of great prosperity in the tech industry. This is when a lot of free money is being used by investors to put into startups and ideas, and this is a time of a lot of growth. The interest rates climbed back up slightly, and then again from 2020 to 2022, near zero. And this was a big hiring spree for tech. Now that it costs money to borrow money, investors are moving away from investing in risky things like startups, and they're putting them in blue chip companies. And tech companies started contracting. Mark Zuckerberg said that he was on a mission to basically fire managers who manage managers because he is interested in the year of efficiency, and the company is basically trimming the fat. I have told you a lot of stuff, and if you've made it this far, you are an incredibly intelligent and cerebral person, and I salute you. But the real question is, should you learn to code, even during this time of layoffs? And I would say yes, I know how to code. It's not my primary job, but it is incredibly useful. This is a list of the most popular languages that coders use right now. If you're gonna learn a language, learn HTML, CSS, SQL. In fact, a lot of data is organized through SQL. We live in a digital world, and it is helpful to know what your world is built out of. I kind of think of knowing how to code kind of like when you watch any Star Wars movie and somehow everyone knows how to fix a plane. Very few things in life that are actually a sure thing, and the tech industry isn't really one of them.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but my short answer is yes, it is too late to try to get into tech. And if you had asked me earlier this year, I would have said, absolutely, go for it. Like, it's never too late to do anything you want to do. And I still stand by that. Like, it's relatively never too late to do anything you want to do. However, we've reached a culmination point where the tech bubble has burst, or at the very least is bursting. A good indicator of this is that 2 years ago, if you were building a tech company, you were likely disrupting an industry. And so you were getting like a $10 billion valuation very easily. And nowadays, all the disruptive ideas, or most of them, have been taken. And perhaps maybe we're trying to disrupt the disruptive idea using AI. A company is lucky if they can touch 2 million right now. So obviously, this means they don't have as much money to hire all the best people. Not to mention all the layoffs that have happened in the past. Have kind of made it possible that a lot of very highly skilled people, super intelligent people, are out there competing with the same jobs as people from scale-ups perhaps, or smaller startups. So of course, it's not really a great time for your entry-level ass to now be like, oh, okay, like here's my CV. Tech salaries are also precipitating as a result of this. So a job that would have paid you 100K last year is offering you like 60, 70K right now, if you're lucky. And as we're seeing more AI companies coming out, I know that people are saying, well, just transition into AI product management or AI tech related roles, which yes and no, because we are also automating ourselves out of jobs. I will never forget, I keep giving this example. Back at my former company, we were looking to hire 5 product managers, but because of ChatPRD, we were like, actually, we're just going to hire 2. And that 2 was still very contentious. Interestingly enough, however, I will say that tech sales, despite being relatively harmed by all these changes that we're seeing, tech sales jobs have managed to remain steady in terms of the numbers I'm seeing. I guess my question to you would be, what is it that you're trying to do in tech? But let me know what you guys think, and I will keep you guys up to date.
Whatever happened to those day in the life working in tech vlogs?
It's because we all got laid off, honey. I worked at Spotify in 2019. It was my first job out of college. I was so excited. Like, it was my dream to move to New York City and just like live that like Carrie Bradshaw lifestyle. And we got so many amazing perks when I worked at Spotify. We got free food, free breakfast, lunch, and sometimes we would get dinner too. We would get free concerts. We would get free international trips to Sweden. There were just so many perks, and now all those perks have completely disappeared. Not to mention, I also got laid off from my job, but that's a story for another day. And that wasn't the only layoff I had. I also worked at Uber right after Spotify as a marketing manager, and I got laid off from that job too. As someone who studied engineering in college, like I went to like one of the best schools for engineering. Like I was the only woman who graduated in my class. Like I expected more out of my life. Like I thought I would be like, you know, making 300K at this point in a full-time job with like a lot of benefits. But for a lot of my friends, this is not the case anymore. You do not want to work in tech actually, because you are probably going to have your job replaced by AI or replaced by something down the line, because now all they want to do is just cut on costs. But yeah, the tech industry is so fucked. So fucked. And I just don't think anyone should join tech right now. It's because we all got laid off, honey. I worked at Spotify in 2019.
The language we use is incredibly important to understand what we're talking about. So when we say the word tech, what we have to realize is that colloquially, a lot of people are saying that meaning computer companies. And not only computer companies, specifically, they're talking about companies that are in computers that provide value based off the internet. So the kind lady that I stitched here says that she used to work for Spotify. The majority of the value, if not all the value of Spotify, is in streaming music. Streaming is an internet service. So what their entire value is, their tech is based off of streaming stuff on the internet. Technology is not just about those things that computers can provide. It's an overarching amount of products that we've created through scientific innovation, right? The thing I'm sitting on, this couch, is technology. The wall is technology. The painting is technology. This is all technology. So when they say, well, ditch tech, specifically what they mean is ditch the whole computer internet service sector. And I would agree that there's less and less and less froth in that business model, and so there's going to be less and less opportunities, right? You're not going to be able to work for Netflix and provide streaming movies and make $500K a year as easily as you did in 2018, 2019. But there's plenty of opportunities in new frontiers that human beings have not hit yet, and those things I would invest time in. Biotechnology especially. Artificial intelligence is having a bit of a heyday, and there might still be opportunity there, but maybe not much, I would say, within a year or two. But look at tech in the way of new scientific innovation, not in internet and computer companies who make value that way.
All this fear-mongering is happening and people are posting tech is dead, and this guy convinced us to join computer science 3 years ago, and now we were so dumb to follow his advice. And I can't even tell whether they're posting this because they actually believe that it's true, or they're just posting it to scare people away so that there's more space in the job market for them. Either way, you don't want to listen and change your major. Why? It's still super valuable. Yes, the tech industry might be doing all these random layoffs, but so many other industries are not laying off people in tech. They're hiring more people in tech to make them more up to date with today's environment. On top of that, your computer science education is not just for a job in tech. It actually provides you with skills that you can use in other jobs, like becoming a financial analyst, for example. It would surprise you how many investment bankers actually have a computer science major. So don't give up yet.
Do you know you have 30 minutes? 30, yes.
If you're wondering the state of the job market, you need to watch this. So I posted this contract role on LinkedIn last night, right before I finished my day. And I've done this probably at least once or twice a year over the course of the last 10 plus years. And typically when I do it, I get 3 to 4 responses, and they're people in my network, and it's no big deal. But this was totally different. So I went to run errands and my phone started ringing, which I thought, odd, numbers I didn't recognize. When I pick up, it's all people that are looking for work. And I felt bad, but one, I couldn't believe they found my personal number. And two, I didn't expect this kind of response. So that night, I went to my email, and last night I checked, I scrolled through, and I have another 70 plus, maybe 100 emails from people in my personal email about this role. I just got on LinkedIn, and I have 66 comments, repost, and I have another 50 plus emails. For some context, I've posted stuff like this before and gotten 3 to 4 responses, and within hours, I probably have, somewhere between 100 and 200 responses for a contract role where I didn't even post the salary or any of the details. This is not good. Personally, was looking for a role last year, and I had a bit of a hard time. My husband was a .NET developer. He looked for a long time and never found a job and ended up starting his own thing. So if you're in this similar position, can you comment and let me know? I'm trying to do some research on the job market in tech. And follow me for product and tech chat.
So I want to get into UX design, and what's quite interesting to me is like these boot camps that I'm seeing, because I'm trying to find like a great place to actually get started. They all literally tell you, oh, you can get hired in 6 months, or you can get hired in 8 months. Like it's the same exact thing. And I'm just like, really? Like, can you imagine how many other people are looking for this course doing the exact same thing? And they also promise that they'll get a job in 6 months to 8 months. And sure, some actually will guarantee a job. They'll literally work with you, right? And they'll refund you if you don't get a job. But like, oh my goodness, there's so many of these places all over the world. So not only are people in tech going to school to get actual degrees that are 3 years, 4 years long, but now they're competing with people like me who are going to go to a boot camp, have a certification, and I have a portfolio, and boom, I'm there at the interviewing with you, competing with you. And I'm not necessarily saying that's so bad, but can you imagine the volume, like the number of people that are doing the alternative to like a degree? You're competing with so many people who might not even be as good as you. Like, yeah, the saturation is, I really do feel like it exists. There are a lot of students who do have degrees and they've graduated, but they're not as skilled as those who come from boot camps. And I've seen this myself. I don't know what it is. Is it because now that you've gone through an actual career, you now want to make a career switch? You have fire in you, you're more passionate, what are the odds? You're obviously going to be really into this new field, this new potential tech field, right? And what I'm seeing with the curriculum, university versus the boot camps really put in a lot of work from what I'm seeing to prepare you for the actual real work environment. I mean, they bring in people who are already on the field. They have like really great career, like pods, like on Slack or whatever. Like the portfolios are really amazing. So maybe there's a reason why employers would actually consider taking someone from a boot camp and be like, yeah, we'd rather take you, because at the end of the day, it's what you're good at doing. Are you skilled enough? Can you do this? Can you actually apply the knowledge you've gained? And I know companies who work with boot camps, who literally work with places like this to actually fill positions. They won't even work with universities anymore. There are no programs to help students from varsity university into the work field. It's boot camps. Everybody wants to work for a FANG company. Like, this is something I always see as well here in South Africa. Like, it's this aesthetic, like corporate girly kind of aesthetic as well, similar to that. But now, of course, if you're entry level, the odds are you won't probably get a job. Why are we all fighting? Like, okay, sure, do apply, keep trying. But in the meantime, like, position yourself like differently, like elsewhere. Like, obviously, startups are great. And more so, like, I see this a lot in South Africa. There are a lot of like US startups, UK startups that are hiring in South Africa or African countries, the Philippines, India, or whatnot. And if you have a CS degree, if you have some sort of boot camp certification, whatever, great portfolio, they're probably going to take you. And the kind of projects you're going to work on are going to be really interesting. So you're building up your portfolio as you wait for this FANG tech life career situation. But I know people that would much rather not get a job than to work for a startup. Like, it's just not going to work. I don't know why. So it makes you realize that people like tech, not necessarily for tech, but for the lifestyle, but for the it's almost like a status thing. So you hear it all the time, a marketing or communications degree is useless. But I'm noticing something, especially where I'm from. I'm not too sure about the US, but I'm assuming it's a similar thing, right? Like, the marketing field, like there's sales, there is PR, communications, there is advertising, media, social media, like whatever role that can fall under that. I see a lot of roles. Like there's so many jobs, endless amount. I can never go online and not find a job in marketing. It's almost impossible that I won't. Like I would know the world is ending. I don't know why that is. However, yes, true. Unfortunately, it won't make you the same amount of money that a role in tech would. But when you do have a tech degree, you're highly likely not going to be able to just go online and apply to any job and just get it, in my opinion. I don't see it work like that, especially where I'm from. So I think, yes, a CS degree gives you versatility. You can be a data scientist, you can be all these other things, but are there actual jobs? Can you actually find a job? Whereas with a marketing degree, there's versatility. I mean, I can be a writer one day, marketing, brand manager. I can be like so many different things in a year, right? And my skills are transferable. Whereas with a CS degree and that experience that you pick, it's not the same. It might still be a little too early to say that the tech job market bubble is bursting, but I do somewhat agree with this because overhiring, right? A lot of tech companies hired like crazy during COVID, but it's literally like what, 2025? It's still too early to just say, hey, like what's happening as a result of the bubble bursting. Really, it's still early. Like COVID was just around the corner. Yes, sure, the economic downturn, yeah, inflation, economic changes, okay, cool. I see that being a factor with what's happening. Could it signal that yes, this job market for tech specifically, the bubble is bursting? Maybe, but I really don't think so. It's still too early. The biggest issue though, automation, that one is straight up probably going to burst the bubble at some point, if there really is a bubble. Market saturation, there are really too many people. I know people who have gotten jobs in tech and they've never even done a degree. Like they just went on some boot camp, and I'm seeing a lot of those people. These boot camps are just pumping out so much. Like they're literally taking on anybody, and anybody does these boot camps, and you can apparently just find a job. So that might be a huge issue in the future. Way too saturated for sure. So in terms of being able to find a job, the biggest risk with tech jobs for sure, especially because a lot of them can be done remotely, is outsourcing. Like I said in one of the videos that I've done, I think 3 videos back from this one or 2, is that I'm seeing a lot of like US companies, UK companies, Australian companies, kind of a lot of developed nations hiring in South Africa for software engineers, for data scientists, for like different types of tech jobs. That is crazy, and they're paying really good. But remember, paying really good in South Africa is still nothing compared to how much someone in that same field would be paid in the US, right? So they're cutting a lot of costs. They're getting good quality, they're getting remote workers still, qualified people, like at a fraction of the cost. So that is a huge risk.